what's good, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? Because you guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Hey, everybody, happy Thursday. We are halfway through April already. It is like April 14th. Oh, my good golly goodness. Yes, it is. And, oh, boy, this band I've had on the podcast today. Oh, man. I've known about this band for about a couple of years now. And the fact that I got to talk to their current lead singer and just hear all about some of the stuff that's going on there has been absolutely incredible. So get ready for this one. Let's start out with some sponsors first. The first sponsor is Phoenix Fitness. Yeah, summer's right around the corner. Want to get the buff, look like Arnold, hit those fitness goals, yeah, and be in the pit like me and just never jump out of there because your body's ready to go. But you got to make sure you prepare right and recover right, especially when you hit the gym and you try and achieve those fitness goals, because that's a huge part of it as well, and that's where Phoenix Fitness comes in. They have many different supplements to help you achieve those fitness goals, such as they have different pre-workouts to help you, get those pump going in your work and get the energy going, both with stim and stim-free stuff. I use the stim-free stuff because I'm always energetic enough as is. I would be like shaking if I took like all the caffeine and the caffeine stuff, like a Bang energy drink. But thank God Phoenix Fitness has a stim-free option. They also have B-cell recovery compounds, like your muscles absorb the nutrients and prepare to recover right after your workout. Creatine to help build muscle along with different protein blends, AM, PM, after workout, collagen protein, plant-based protein, multivitamins, literally anything you need to achieve your fitness goals, Phoenix Fitness has for you. So our listeners get 15% off using the code MSOTD at fnxfit.com. Link description to the podcast. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness. Our second sponsor is Custom Abuse. So this band that we're talking today has a brand new album coming out on July 22nd. And they have a single out called Better that would be kind of cool to have a cool custom poster based off that. So if I go to Custom Abuse, that's what I can do. I can type in the band name and I can type in the name of the album, or I can type in the name of the song that I want, and they'll create a custom poster based off of the album or based off that song in some sort of way. And it could be like with the album artwork, it could be with the track listing, it could be with the lyrics, it could be anything like that. And within 48 hours, they'll give me a proof of a concept that they're going to work with. And if I don't like it, I can tell them what to change about it until I get the custom poster that I want. And then they can send it to you on either a canvas print, regular post paper, or an aluminum sign. So you can be the coolest cat, coolest person in the office, in the garage, in your basement, in your dorm room, in your house, literally anywhere you want to put that. I mean, Custom Use can have you covered on that one. So get on it. Our listeners get 10% using code CPP10 at checkout for Custom Use website. Link description to the podcast. Thank Custom Use now under a feature presentation. So the band I was talking about is Palisades. I found out about them back in 2018 off a Facebook ad from Erase the Pain. That was the album that came out in 2018. But since then, they've gone through the pandemic happened. Ended up their lead vocalist Lou at the time ended up departing the band. Don't worry. Brandon, the new lead vocalist who's been in the band for quite a while, has spoke about that. The band are on very good terms with each other, so that's always cool, really cool to hear. So you're going to want to, check that out on the podcast as well. But with Brandon on the podcast, we talk about what the band has been doing since the pandemic. We talk about the brand new album, Reaching Hypercritical, which is coming out on July 22nd. We dive deep into the single Better on the inspiration behind it and kind of some of the stuff that we've dealt with over the past couple of years that's really brought out in the song Better. We talk about different things with mental health. We talk about different things when it comes to reaching out to get help and just some of the things around there and really diving deep into that and the positivity that music brings. So this one is really cool, and you're going to want to listen to more Palisades after this one. So are you ready? Because this one was a lot of fun with Brandon. Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. This one, not gonna lie, is a fun one. I mean, right now I'm taking a look at this guy, and he's got a post-human survival horror blanket right behind him. So I'm like, okay, this is already gonna be one hell of an episode. The band that this guy plays for, they have a brand new album coming out in July called Reaching Hypercritical. They have 2 singles out with him as the frontman right now, My Consequences and the most recent one, Better. So please welcome Brandon from the band Palisades to the podcast. So Brandon, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. This is so sick. I'm so excited. So excited. Thank you for having me, dude. It's so sick.
Man, thanks for being on. And I mean, just to jump into this right away, how's everything going in your world? How's everything going on your end? Because I mean, we're getting back, especially I know you guys are playing with Blind Channel, opening for them on their, headlining U.S. First show. And you said it was your first show back. So, I mean, you guys got to be pretty psyched, especially getting back out playing music, especially after the whole entire pandemic and other things that have been happening as well.
Dude, yeah, it's, we've all been super anxious to get back out there since everything, kind of hit us back in 2020. So we're definitely itching for it. Super excited for the new music and the new singles and everything. And we've been holding on to this stuff for so long. So it's amazing to finally be able to start giving it to people and seeing like the response to everything. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, I would assume so. It is, just because I remember when I first like found out about the band, it was like when the most previous album came out, Erase the Pain, because I saw it on a Facebook and I'm like, huh, let's go check this out. So all of a sudden, since then, I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of, late in the weeds, like, when is new music coming out? So of course, all of a sudden, the new album's going to come out in July. Hear the 2 singles with you on lead vocal. I'm just like, okay, this is going to be fun. And hopefully, as 2022 rolls on, that there's going to be more shows than just, the one with Blind Channel coming forward, especially with the new album coming out. It's like, I got to see some of these live. I got to be in the crowd for some of these, along with probably every other fan that's out there is feeling the exact same way.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We do have some stuff in the works. We just can't, unfortunately, just can't really like bring it to like put it out there yet. But we do have some stuff in the works. So we'll definitely be able to start getting out to those cities and everything and start playing live for people.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I know, again, a lot of other people are, along with yourself as well. So one thing I am curious about is, especially with you now being, doing lead vocal duty for the band as well, with this new album, with the 2 new singles, what has that transition been like for you to start doing lead vocals for Palisades and really taking over that role?
I mean, it's been a pretty interesting process. It's been, obviously like with the member changes and everything and trying to, transfer into everything like that. But it worked out well with Lou and everything. We're still all on great terms and stuff like that. He had different visions and stuff like that. We had different visions. So it worked out for all of us. But other than that, it's been really good. The chemistry is still there. We like trying out things that we've never been to try out before, like vocally and instrumentally and stuff. And it's been really exciting, dude. And the response from everybody has been really good. I've been in the band for a while now, so a lot of people are like, "Oh, like this is fine. Like we're used to this. We're like used to Brandon and him being there and everything." So it's good that I was able to kind of take the reins on it instead of somebody new. I feel like it probably would have been a little bit harder, but yeah, it was a really smooth process. Other than it taking so long to like get everything out there, but it's been working out really, really well, and I'm very excited for it.
I mean, that's going to be the whole key of it, is just having it work out to the point where, especially from a fan's perspective, where all of a sudden, that change happens. It's great to hear that you guys are still on great terms with Lou as well, because we have heard plenty other stories in the past, just as music fans as well, of member changes that don't go over very well, or where the band members just aren't on the best terms. But being able to be on those good terms with everybody else just makes it a lot easier to go through. On top of that, with the fact that you've been in the band previously for quite some time, along with having some vocal presence in the band as well, this transition it kind of feels like, you're graduating from one spot in the band to the other.
Yeah. It's pretty much, it was like a promotion in my eyes, like a small promotion. So yeah, it worked out really well. And yeah, like we literally just went to a wedding together, like the band and Lou, and we were all there like literally like a month or 2 ago, and it was all cool. Everything was chill. We had fun at the wedding, and yeah, it was a great time. So,
man, I mean, that just makes it even more fantastic to hear. It brings more. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. It just puts a lot more positivity around the band as well, especially in from what a lot of people have gone through in the past 2 years, where there's a lot of negativity going around in many different places that they look at. Just continue to see some sort of positivity in the band as things are transitioning from one spot to the next. It just keeps that positivity rolling. So when people listen to your music, when people go out and see those shows, when they happen in 2022, there's still always this connective, positive emotion to it.
100%. 100%.
And that just makes it all the better, including, the most recent single guys put out called Better. So weird transition there, but oh yeah.
No, dude, the song Better. I absolutely love that song. And even Lou's heard of all these songs too. And yeah, he even loves all these, he's heard like probably most of the album too as well. So, and yeah, he's very supportive of it. We're supportive of him, and it's all good.
Oh man, that is fantastic. So I mean, if with you being a big fan of Better as a song, especially as you guys were writing it, what was the inspiration behind that song? Because always like when I like to do these podcasts, I always like to pick at least one song, or if there's a whole album come out, like go as deep as possible into that song or into that album to really get to understand it, really get the feel of it. And when listening to Better, I'm just like, there's something that's pulling me into this, just like more, I'm trying like more inspirational, but more like motivational and like gaining momentum to do something better play. So what was the theme behind the song? What was the inspiration behind the song? Because I went deep into it and I kind of want to like see how everything lined up.
Oh, I mean, I got you. I got you. So so that song is based around my anxiety conditions that I currently struggle with right now. I suffer from chronic anxiety, depression, agoraphobia, and dissociate disorders like derealization and stuff like that. So we kind of just built the song around that and just like the struggles and like the kind of like the bad habits that I kind of put myself through, that which led me to this point. And yeah, it's basically just a matter of like finding a way out of it. Like I'm still trying to find my way out of it now. I've still suffered through it today and everything. And trying to like change like eating habits, like trying to get all this other toxicities out of my life and stuff. And going to therapy, trying medication, which didn't unfortunately work out. Still trying to, I'm just trying to like find like more like natural ways of curing myself and stuff like that. Also, sorry, I don't know why my phone keeps going. I thought I turned it off, but I don't even know. Whatever. But yeah, so it's basically just trying to find a way out of it. And we basically made this song because I know a lot of other people have suffered through this stuff too throughout the years. Like I heard that, there's been a lot of like more suicides, more like overdoses and stuff like that. It's just, I think from the world shutting off, it really also just shut a lot of people off inside too, and including myself. So we wanted to kind of build that song around that and just let people know that, like they're not the only ones that are like that have to go through this and everything, and kind of let people know that they're safe and like we're going to get past it and everything like that. And yeah, it's basically what it is.
Well, especially jumping back to just go, especially during the pandemic, because when everything got shut down, everyone, was like, oh, stay in your homes. You can't really go out and see anybody. So any kind of real connection that we had with people was rather distant. So we were much more ingrained in just kind of like ourselves and potentially anything that was going on there. So anything that was going on mentally, any thoughts that we had, anything that might be impacting us was amplified based off the fact that we were, focused in on that, or maybe even hyper focused in that because we were isolated to that point. And I know a lot of people that have felt the same, like some sort of similar way as well, where bits of like depression, anxiety, there are a lot of different things that I know people have been suffering with that have flared up a little bit more so, or even, extremely more so based off of what happened during the pandemic, and trying to find a different way to just, not only deal with it, but also heal from it and get better off, from it. It hasn't been an easy process for a lot of people. And that's not just stuff that's happened during the pandemic either. Even, go back further in life, like this stuff is still prevalent in a good amount of us. So it's still stuff that we have to work with. I mean, you even spoke to it yourself where you're trying many different ways to combat it, to get better from the stuff that you're dealing with when it comes to just, eating habits or just thought process, anything you could potentially, figure out. And it's really something to really create a song like this to not only give to people, but also to show people in another way that you're not the only one going through this. You're not alone in this process. And there are many people out there that are more than willing to help you through this. Mm-hmm. If you ask. And I know asking is one of the hardest things to do, but it's also good to know that, if you ask, we're going to help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was something I struggled with for a long time too, was like keeping it to myself, not talking to people about it. Like I've done it my whole life. And like now, like I'm actually very open with it. I talk to my friends about it, and it's insane seeing how supportive like my friends actually are. Cause like I never really seen that side of them like growing up, or like, so it's just like, it's it was really beautiful thing just to like see how like supportive like all my friends are and everything. And it's just drawn me closer to them too, which is awesome. And like, you know, we help each other back and forth and stuff. And it's not just like a, you know, like a one-way thing or anything like that. So I think that's really important for people to understand, is that like, you know, we're like, people are always there to listen. People are always there to like support you and get you through it and stuff like that. Like we do not have to do this alone. And I definitely tried doing it alone for a long time. And I'm just not about that life anymore. Like I'm really about like just talking with people about it. I think it's important.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't mind me asking though, back when you were trying to deal with this all yourself, was there any specific reason or reasons that you didn't want to reach out to people and ask for help? And the main reason I want to ask this question is because if people are dealing with stuff like this and they are afraid to ask for help, maybe seeing that, you know, if the reasons that they are having was a reason that you had as well, and potentially see how you got past that reason to ask for help.
Yeah. I think the main reason why I didn't talk to anybody was because I think it's just because I didn't want to feel like a burden. I think a lot of people probably feel that way too. They feel like they're just being like, you know, like a wet blanket, like, you know, or stuff like that. And like, you know, being like the downer of the party or type of thing. But that's the thing. It's like nobody who you talk to about this ever thinks that. Like, at least from my experience, who I've talked to about it, they're always willing to listen, even if they don't understand. There are a lot of people out there that don't really understand the struggles that people go through in their head on a day-to-day basis, but they're still willing to listen and to just try, like, at least try to understand. That way it just makes them more aware of like what you're going through and stuff. And, you know, like there's people I've talked to about it who don't get it, but they're like, where was I going with that? Sorry. My train of thought's kind of going off there. Yeah, they're just willing to listen, willing to even do research and make themselves more aware and like learn how to like talk to you better as well. Like, you know, find like making sure they say the right things, because there's certain things that people might say that just doesn't flow well with somebody who suffers from anxieties and stuff. Like, oh, you're going to be fine, just calm down. And it's like, it's a matter of teaching people like the right things and wrong things to say with people who suffer through this. But it's just all a matter of just like being open about it and like helping people be aware and understand it more. And I think it's like, as far as talking to people about it, I kind of just started doing it one day. I started with therapy, and when I did my first session, I cried a lot and everything like that. And he tried to probably which I did. I was even scared to tell my family about it, but my mom's learning to understand, because she's never had this in her life. So now she's like trying to understand like, what is my son going through and all that stuff. But it's just a matter of telling yourself that like you're not a burden. Nobody's going to judge you for this kind of stuff. It's a serious thing. It causes a lot of pain for people, and you know, people want to help. And yeah, it's made me want to be a better friend and person also for other people, because I feel like I haven't been there for a lot of people in my life at some times too. And it's like, now that I understand like how bad this can actually be, it just makes me want to help a lot more too now.
And that makes a lot of sense. And also, Brandon, thank you for sharing that as well, because even, you know, I'm connecting with some of the things that I had dealt with back, you know, about 5 years ago, when life just kind of took a huge left turn and things weren't going very well. And I was afraid to talk to anybody about it, because one of the main reasons was feeling like, you know, I'd be a burden to people. I was always the guy that's like, you know, oh, Kevin will be fine. Kevin's okay. It's just a couple of days thing. He'll deal with it. But I mean, it really wasn't that easy. And like when I started, you know, being able to talk to people about this, one thing I kind of did was like similar to you, was like I found somebody that I could trust to open up to start out with, and then build from there. And it could be, you know, what you start out with going to therapy. With me, it was talking with my best friend about some of these things. So it is, you find like the biggest key is the first person you tell. Find a person that you can trust. Find a person that you know is either going to be well connected with you, so that they're willing to, you know, they're willing to listen, you know, they're willing to but just listen and try and understand and potentially start to help you through some of this stuff, or just to be there for you. Or therapy is also another great option, because those people are going to be there for you, and you also get in more of a clinical sense as well, a little bit more of that professional side. So it's kind of whatever way you want to go about it. And it's just the best way to start out to get that kind of help and, see the support from your friends, from your family, and from a lot of other people as well that want to make sure and see you do better and see you get past some of these things that you might be suffering with, because the world is a much better place with you in it than without you in it.
100%. 100%. That's really important. Yeah, really important for sure. I agree.
And I think the pandemic also kind of, added to that a little bit as well, just on the fact that I'm trying to think of the best way to put this too, because again, we were all isolated from each other. So our only real connection was, talking with people online for a majority of time. And, removing that human connection really put us in a more difficult spot.
Dude, yeah, 100%. Like when the pandemic started, like I thought my life was over. Like I thought it was completely over. I thought the band was done. I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do now. Like I had no idea. I didn't even graduate high school. So it's like I didn't even I had no idea what my life was gonna be anymore. So that in itself just completely dragged me down. And yeah, so it's like that's why I'm like grateful to just be here now, is because I really if the band would have ended, I literally had no idea where I would be afterwards. So I'm glad we're all still here.
I'm glad we're all here, and I'm glad, especially when it comes to music, like live music is back, and the music industry is very much in full swing right now, because we missed out on so much with that. And a lot of that was just that positive connection that, as fans we make with the bands and everyone else that's in the crowd. As a band, the positive connection you make with all the fans who are in the crowd as well. Just that positivity was missing from something, to the point where, especially with you guys playing that first live show with Blind Channel since the pandemic, it's kind of cool, because, for a person like myself, I've been to so many shows since kind of everything started coming back. I've probably been to 50 or so since then, because I'm kind of addicted to this stuff. I can't help myself. But it was that first one. I still won't forget the absolute just pure joy and happiness of things just going crazy once again, and people just connecting on that front. So the fact that you still get to experience that, and you're going to, is incredible.
Yeah, I'm counting down the minutes right now. I'm really, really counting down the minutes of being on that stage again, and hearing everybody, and hear everybody sing the songs and just have fun. And it's been so awesome just to see the music industry come back. And I've been to a couple shows too since everything's came back. I think the first show I went to when everything came back was Band Camino here in Nashville. And I didn't know what to expect either, because I was like, I'd never been to a show yet since everything happened. So I was like, didn't really know, but I went there, and it was honestly just a beautiful thing, just seeing everybody sing together and have fun. And it wasn't didn't feel weird. It felt like normal again. So it was really awesome. Especially
after, a year and a half of the utmost weirdest time in the world, finally having this sense of normalcy once again. And especially from your standpoint as well, being in a band and, being so ingratiated into the music industry, finally having that sense of normalcy back had to bring, some sort of comfort and some sort of confidence that, if there were other things that, we're talking about the song Better, that you might have been dealing with a little bit more prevalently at that time, kind of put them even further back and made them not as prevalent, based off the fact that now that positivity is reigning once again, by being able to see a live show and being able to experience that once again, and experience that positivity after the initial shutdown from March of 2020.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things we've been working towards for so long, man. We've been through a lot of hardships, a lot of loss, and within the band, and just the band itself, losing family members and divorces and everything. So I think getting back to this is really gonna just push us higher as people, as musicians, and we're God, it's emotional for me sometimes talking about this. It's just going to be an amazing feeling, just being back to doing what we love to be doing, because we don't want to do anything else. Like, this is our lives here. Like, like like this is it for us, you know? So it's going to be a really like just remarkable feeling, just like being back to it again.
Oh, absolutely. And then even like using Better as another example as well, that's just kind of bringing forward that positive feeling. I mean, when you guys play this song, and when I was listening to it and really going through it, it's just the way it was built, the way it was constructed, from the instrumental construction, the vocal construction, the vocal patterns, from, you know, verse to pre-chorus to chorus. It felt like, you know, at the start of it, it's kind of like, you know, what you're talking about, where, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on inside of you where, you know, it's not the best situation, not a good situation, and you want to find a way to break away from that, break through that, and feel better. But it's just the way it's constructed, because it starts out at that point, but it doesn't lament at that point. It starts out on the inside, especially with the way the instrumentals kind of build up, and it kind of builds up this momentum and builds up this, you know, energy inside of you to break through. And then your vocals over the top of it having this, you know, I would say a little bit more of a higher pitch kind of style to them. What ended up happening was it kind of had this feeling of, you know, there's something building up inside you to try and break through, but you have to break through it on the outside as well as the inside to really get to that point. But then here comes the pre-chorus, and your vocals start to, you know, gain that energy. So you're finally feeling that want to break free from that, and that want to, you know, get help, get better, and become the best person you can possibly be for yourself. You feel that kind of come out in the pre-chorus. Then the chorus hits, and it's like, okay, now the outside and the inside, their wants and their desires are matching. The confidence is there. The momentum is there. And it is fully out there in full force with this anthemic kind of drive. So, like, the progression from one spot to the next was absolutely stunning to listen to.
Dude, yeah, it's the process of creating that song was just beautiful as well. Like, we created it during the pandemic, and Mark from Nothing More helped us write that song too. So we went back and forth for like, we have like 17 different versions of Better too, which is like, it's hilarious, like different keys, like different chord progressions, all that stuff. And but yeah, like Mark was so awesome, like listening to us and being able to capture what we wanted to capture with that song. And I think, yeah, like he really, really brought that song to life, and it was honestly just beautiful to see the outcome of it.
And just the outcome of it is just fantastic. I'm not even going to lie, though. It's like I was talking about those parts in the song, though, but the bridge, which I didn't even bring up to, honestly, that's the part that really stands out the most in this whole entire thing.
That bridge, that was a big challenge for me, because, you know, like the tempo change and everything like that, like it was really hard trying to find like a vocal melody for that part. And Matt Marshall, the guitarist, he wanted me to like do some kind of like a Toolish type of melody over it, and like some long run, like with some, you know, some like weird notes here and there. And I kind of just sat there on the phone with him, and I was just like kind of mumbling stuff out. And then yeah, we finally came up with that melody, and somehow it ended up working to where everything lined up back on time, you know, with the constant like back and forth tempo changes and that. So yeah, that bridge was really fun though. Very Linkin Park inspired, Tool inspired, but yeah, it's a beautiful bridge. It's something we haven't done before either. So I'm glad a lot of people appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, because even for myself as well, listening to, I mean, right when you enter into it, especially from like the instrumental perspective, it does have that heavier sound, a deeper anthemic chug to it. And I'm just like, it has that bombastic feel overall, and it continues to drive through that with a couple of those like cool drum fills at the end of every other couple measures. And as I'm looking at my note sheet for this, I wrote down everything. I'm not going to, you know, not write down everything because I don't want to forget about it. But damn, now this is cool. It shows that like motivation inside you to get better and to take charge of yourself in a great way. Because, you know, it's also a fact that it's continuing on. It's like, even when you get to that first point where you're outside and you're inside match and you want to break free from that, it's awesome. But no matter what, you need to keep driving forward to affect that kind of change. And just the feeling of the heavier side of it just really brought forward that feeling of you got to keep going. You got to always try and put yourself forward from it. Then when you get to your vocals, I thought they were the best part of the song from your vocal standpoint was this bridge. So putting in the work to try and make that happen was absolutely fantastic, because you had this like, you open up with a scream that's not fully unclean, but it does have that like heavier presence to it. I'm just like, holy crap, you're bringing that momentum right forward, but you're bringing more of that momentum, bring more of that bombastic energy right through here. And I even wrote, it's a perfect piece of storytelling because it caps with the notion that we still need to work past that initial point of motivation to fix what we need to fix. And we can't stop. We have to keep going. We have to keep driving because there's always going to be times where things come back to try and bring us down, whether mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it might be. But you just got to keep driving, got to keep forward, and got to keep working towards it.
That's all it is, man. Just keep working for it. If you want it bad enough, you can have it, it's a really important thing to recognize, like, it lies, like, that's what those lines are, like in that bridge too. It lies inside the depths of you, lies inside the depths of me. It's like, we all go through this together. So it's like, that's why we just got to help each other and, get past this. And, all these bad feelings will pass at the end of the day. And that's such a big factor.
Oh, absolutely. Because even though it might seem like at times where those bad feelings are never going to go away and they're just always going to be there, it's kind of like time is the ultimate healer. Something's going to happen over the course of time if you keep working towards it, where you're going to end up talking to people that connect with you on some sort of way, that are willing to help you on some sort of way. You're going to find music that you connect with that helps pull you out of something like that because of this positive relation you have to it. And I can attest to that personally because, I mean, when I was going through my the horrible time, the one thing that kind of kept me going through and the one thing that kept me positive even in the darkest times was music, was going to see some live shows and just finally being able to let go of some of these feelings for maybe an hour and a half. So it just, it really connects in the fact that even though at times things might seem bleak, keep working towards it, keep trying, because eventually you're going to end up surrounding yourself with people and situations that are going to end up putting you in that position to get better, to do better, and have the help to be able to achieve that and continually be able to do that as you go through life.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I'm right there with you. Yeah, we gotta be together on this. That's what it's all about.
And kind of relating it back to music as well and a whole entire thing. I mean, you go to a concert and there's so many people there and everyone's there for a different specific reason. But the core reason is because whatever bands are on that bill, they're there to see those bands because those bands elicit a positive reaction to them on an emotional, and mental and physical level. So you can go meet people from all different walks of life at any given show you go to, but it's just that positivity that reigns through. And I've seen people that are going through some stuff at some of those shows while just, going through some stuff mentally and emotionally, and just like the music is their first time to just feel better and just potentially let some of that stuff out. And it's incredible to see and also be able to rally around those people to help pull them back up. Because I saw it happen at a Beartooth show once when they were playing Disease. A couple people broke down because of how well they connected to the song and how impactful it was for them. They broke down the middle of the pit, and instead of us continue to go crazy in the pit, we kind of just we're hyping them up and everything and getting them going to the point where by the end of the song, I mean, everyone's giving them high fives, hugs, and everything. And then before I think they went into bad listener, and then we just started to throw down again, like normal.
Dude, that's why music's such an important thing, though, man. It's like it really brings people together, and that's why we're so excited to just get this album out and start playing shows as well, because we want that connection. We miss that connection, and miss seeing people break down at shows and feel the music and just have fun with each other and take care of each other. And we miss talking to everybody too and stuff. We do a lot of talking with people after shows and stuff. We always go to the merch table, say hi to everybody, talk to them. And, we've heard a lot of different sort of stories from people too, which are just very inspiring for us, which makes us keep wanting to do this, because it's why we do it. We do this to help people. So it's, yeah.
No, there's another question that I usually am always intrigued by when people bring up stuff like this, where you're talking to fans and you're hearing them tell their stories and you're connecting with them. If you're willing to tell, is there any sort of specific story from a fan that you heard or was talking to you after a show that you just really connected closely with, and to keep that passion flying, to keep that passion rolling, and keep that motivation rolling to want to continue to do music and know that you are in the exact right spot that you're supposed to be in life, doing what you love to do?
No, I mean, during the letdown days, we had a lot of people tell us they left their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend because they were just treating them like trash and stuff. We had a lot of stories from that, a lot of marriages, like, even though like we're sad to hear like marriages be over, because marriage is a beautiful thing, but obviously if it's an abusive one and like stuff like that, then like we hope that people would make the right decisions for themselves. Letdown was a really inspirational thing we've helped a lot of people through. But there's one story where I think it was in somewhere up north. We were playing a show, and after we got done playing, I remember meeting this kid outside, and he seemed like very like in distress, like I don't know, something was off. I just did not feel right. I felt like worried for him. I went up to him. I asked him if he was okay, and he was saying that like somebody from his past like showed up and did some horrible things to him and everything, and he like was thinking about like hurting himself and stuff like that, and like possibly like committing suicide. And I had to like I talked to him for a long time, and he ended up like talking to me and just saying like this is, he was saying how much he loves the band and how much like the music has helped him and everything like that. And he was just so grateful that I was even talking to him and everything in passing, because we were literally just about to get on the bus and go to the next show and everything like that. So he was very grateful that we talked to him. I told him to add me on Instagram, to like let me know when he got home and everything like that. And he texted me when he got home and said he was safe and everything like that. And I think that it's just stuff like that that just really like inspires us to keep doing what we're doing and like save people's lives possibly and stuff like that. And because you just really never know what people are going through, and music is what helps people. So that's probably the biggest story that like stands out to me for sure.
That's a fantastic story to hear. And also, I mean, again, related to Better as well, it really, shows that what you wrote here with Better, what you guys created here with Better, and especially looking back through the past of the time with the band, that what you have expressed here is something that you have embodied continuously over the course of your entire career, because music does save lives. Music does heal people, because music gives potentially a piece of positivity in the darkest of times. Again, I can attest to that, because probably the biggest thing I remember from a concert was when I got to see Rise Against at one point in 2017, everything was going wrong. But for that 1 hour and a half moment, nothing mattered except for me just having a good time. And off of that, all started, all kind of boiled into what I'm doing right now. I'm talking to you, and I can all relate it back to that one specific show and how everything is built up from there. But on top of that as well, you never know what people are going through. But just think about this. What would have, you connected with this person, and just by doing that, this kid ended up being able to go home and feeling like he had a friend, feeling that he was going to be in a safe spot, that even though things that night did not go well at all, something that you ended up doing and connecting with him made him know that things are going to be okay at some point. Being able to, connect them and just, hey, please let me know when you get home. And then having that response there, that's something to show that person that someone out there cares. And even if it's someone that's not super close to them, but it's someone from a band that they really connect with, just to see something like that, you never know that could have easily been the moment in that kid's life where everything could have been going wrong. And all of a sudden, that could be the turning point right there, because he felt like someone cared. And not only felt like someone cared, but knew that someone cared.
100%. Like, that's what we want for everybody. We want everybody to feel safe and feel welcome. And, be like, we're here to help you in any way that we can. And that's the most important thing, keeping our fans safe, letting them know that they're loved.
Oh, absolutely. Because, and especially from the time we've gone through and the time in life we are right now, love is needed more than anything right now. And just that positive connection that it brings. So being able to give that to so many people, and now especially, new album coming out, you guys are going to be back out on the road, being able to deliver that once again to people that connect closely with your music, or people that might just be going to the show and find about your music for the first time and connecting with it on that sort of realm, and just feeling that vibe and just feeling that positivity from there. You never know what might happen, but being able to go and affect that change once again, man, it's going to be good to have you guys back out on the road and, playing these shows and just connecting with everybody once again.
You're telling me, man. You are telling me. It's, I'm super excited. just super excited for people to hear the album too. Like it has a little bit of everything, so much variety and just so many stories. And it's like we didn't make up any concepts for this album either. Like every single song is about something that we each dealt with within the last couple years. Like it's not just some made up concept. Everything is true story. So it's like we're an open book on this album. So it's going to be good.
Oh, every time I hear people say they're an open book, and I'm like, this is usually going to mean something good is going to happen, because there have been a good number of bands I've talked to already this year that have released albums, in 2022, and they say, this is the most open we've ever been on an album, this is the most honest we've ever been on an album. And I'm looking at a list right above my computer right now that I've handwritten. I'm like, every band that I had that I know have said that. I've got a list like top 10 albums from 2022. Everyone is on that list right now, because the power of positivity and the power of just inspiration that comes from those songs, and just the emotion that comes from it and how it's connected in every little bit, man, it always creates for something that is emotional, connective, but also just really understands, from the flow of one like part of the song to the next, one story to the next. Everything about it usually works out incredibly well. So you're taking me from, ooh, I can't wait for something to come out to, all right, is it July yet? Because I'm not sure I'll be able to wait anymore.
Yeah, same. Like when I heard it was coming out in July, I was like, I was ready to put this out like tomorrow. I was like, oh, that's so far away still. But we still have music coming. We're still gonna, I think I'm allowed to say it. Yeah, we're gonna have some more music coming out beforehand. So no worries.
I mean, you're definitely allowed to say that. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to say what songs are coming out and what days are, but by saying, you can expect a couple more songs maybe to come out between now and, the day the album releases. I think that's still pretty safe to say.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's kind of like a normal thing that, all bands do anyways. They release, at least 3 to 4 songs for an album. So we definitely have some more songs coming before the album comes out. So get more of a taste of how it goes.
Perfect. Well, I got to ask you this. This is not going to be anything about like trying to, dive, like to ask about when like these songs are coming out, but like on this album, because you said there's a lot more personal stories behind there, a lot more emotion behind there from what you guys had dealt with over the past couple of years. Is there any song in particular, outside of the 2 singles that have already been released, are there any 2 songs particularly that you're most excited for fans to hear? And I got to ask why then, because I want to get excited for this one too.
Oh man. I think I'm very excited for people to hear Die Down. Die Down and Invincible. It's like a double name. And the reason why it has the double name is because it has an A chorus and a B chorus. So it's like one long chorus, but it's like 2 different parts though. It's not like it doesn't sound the same. It's very beautiful. It's a lot of falsetto work on it. It's like a song that we haven't really done before. It has influence of like Flyleaf in it, influence of oh man, it's just like it has like some awesome chuggy verse in it. It's very fun. And I personally wrote that song about substance abuse. Back then I used to have some troubles with substance abuse, like with alcohol, experimenting drugs. Thankfully I'm not on that anymore, just in a dark place at the time. So that's what that song's mainly about. But it's just a beautiful song. It's beautiful and heavy at the same time, which is cool as well. So I think I'm very excited for people to hear that one. I literally recorded it on a voice memo on my phone with like a guitar, like an acoustic guitar, and the melody and the lyrics too. I just recorded on my phone. I sent it to my band, and then we made it a demo like 2 days later. So it's a very cool, heartfelt song.
Well, shoot, now I'm going to have to like make sure that when the album comes out, I got that one like highlighted, marked with a big old like star. It's like, okay, this is the one I got to make sure I listen to, because Brandon was the one that was like, yeah, you're going to want to listen to this one. This was the one I'm most excited for. So I'm going to take your advice on this one, man. I'm going to have to, because I asked for it. So, I wanted to ask for it anyway, and I was going to do it because it's a great recommendation. So yeah.
Yes. And if you're into heavy songs, the heaviest song on the record is Sick of the Attitude. So if you're into the heaviness, that's the go-to for that one.
Well, now you're giving me 2 to star and highlight, because I am a fan of the heavy stuff as well. Mostly because every time I hear the heavy stuff, it's just like, I'm always thinking, this is going to be fun to throw down at a concert too. Just put me in the pit and let me go nuts.
It's a good, that'll be a good pit starter for sure. So it'll be fun.
Oh boy. So now I'm getting excited because I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping that when you guys are able to, get back on the road, when you guys have plan and get those dates planned and released, that at least one of those dates is going to be at some point somewhere near me, where the point where I can, get to that show and all of a sudden that song's going to start, and you're going to see some crazy dude in a Brewers hat in the middle of the pit going nuts. You're going to be like, there's some crazy in a Brewers hat. Oh, no, that's just Kevin. He's just having a good time. He's just throwing down for the fun of it.
I know him. He's having fun.
Oh, it's absolutely. So
looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to, seeing you and everybody out there having fun, dude. That's all we want.
Oh, and again, you're going to just feel the positivity radiate as well. And I'm like, because I'm already like, I put it in my mind, I'm like, okay, because I know, you got, again, the first shows with Blind Channel, in April, and all of a sudden after that, you get the album to come out in July. So somewhere between there, I'm like, there might be some show that maybe a little bit after it. So I'm already like putting in my head, I'm like, okay, is it going to be as close to me? But also there could be maybe an hour and a half away from me. So hopefully gas prices are a little bit lower. Otherwise, I mean, I'm just going to have to, basically just say, nah, we're just going to go anyway. Screw the gas prices. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with paying for that later.
I will say I have seen some like rough route plans for like possible tours in between now and the album release. And I think there are a couple that are like fairly close to you. So
I'll usually do it this way, because this is usually my thing. If it's Milwaukee, that's perfect, because I mean that I can get anywhere in like 10, 15 minutes for pretty much every venue that's here. But it's like, you know what? I'll still drive on a random day. Now, it could just be any day of the week. I'll go as far north as Green Bay. I'll go as far west as Madison, and I'll go as far south as Chicago, because, well, if there's a show I want to see, you better believe I'm going to be there, and I'm not going to miss out on an opportunity to see a band that I enjoy, see a band that I connect with, and especially when it comes to bands having the podcast. If I get a chance to see you perform live, by God, I'm going to try and make it happen.
Just make it happen, dude. I'm here for it. I'm always here for it.
It's going to be. So one other thing, and it comes to like more of the live setting, is there anything, potential special or anything crazy, especially potentially being put into a new live set for you guys to just like kind of add a little bit more luster to the live show, so that fans are going to be like, okay, we heard about that Palisades is doing something like this. We have to go and see this play live. We have to go and see this moment live and just have to experience this.
Oh, like as far as like production or like the like set wise, you mean?
Honestly, anything, because I'm not sure exactly what you're able to give me or able to like say, but it's just to tease something to make it so that, the fans are like, we have to see this live. And then me is like, I'm already wanting to go see this live, to make it be like, okay, I don't care if, I've got, potential, if I got a date that night, or if I got to go out and do something else, or if I've got an long day at work that day. No. I don't care what's going to happen. I will lose the sleep because I have to see this.
Oh man. I mean, man, that's a tough one. Oh wow, that's a tough one. I mean, we do have a couple different like renditions of songs. Like we're probably gonna do like a different rendition of Better when we play it live on a headliner. It won't be like detrimentally different or anything like that. Like it won't be like crazy different, but it like we're thinking about maybe like doing like a little extension of it at the end, extension of Better. We also have like for like the new album, we have a song that's like has a lot of piano work, and it's like a very more like intimate song like that. There'll probably definitely be some times I'll even be picking up the guitar and singing at the same time too. Like that's something different that we haven't done before. So there'll be stuff like that. We're working on new production. Gonna get some more light systems, gonna get those fog geysers going. Yeah, I mean, we're still in like the works of creating like our live performance and what we want to do, but I know once we do it, it'll be something special.
Just from the fact that you say you might do a little bit of a different rendition of Better, I mean, that's already kind of got my mind in a different like idea of how could you potentially do this in a different way that, that still, is always going to easily relate exactly back to, what we know now. However, how is this going to be a little bit different? How is it going to be a little bit tweaked to make sure that the emotion of the song is even more impactful when you see it in a live setting, and when us in the crowd, when we're there with, 1,000 people, 2,000 people just really feeling it, like how is that just going to impact that even more so, to the point where you never know, all of a sudden all of us in this pit might have our arms around each other, just like in this like full on just family style moment, just like we're feeling this. Everyone, if you're feeling down, you need some help, we're here for you.
Yep. Just got to come out to the shows. Got to come out to the shows and experience it, man. We have a lot of stuff up our sleeves, so we're really excited to get to play it live and have people experience it together.
And well, you can pretty much guarantee that I'm going to be there at some point for it in 2022. When and where, still I'm not sure, but is it going to happen? Yes.
Yes, for sure. I can't wait, man. I really cannot wait.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Well, Brandon, as we bring this podcast to its conclusion, one thing I always like to do is give my guest, which in this case is you, my good man, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of this podcast. So, Brandon, floor is yours.
Well, first off, I just want to thank you for having me a part of this. I never really I'm not really used to these type of things yet. Like usually, it was always Lou doing all this stuff as the band grew up and everything. So I'm really just grateful to be a part of this and like tell our stories and everything. So thank you for having me a part of it. New album, July 22nd. So What Festival, May 27th, first day, playing with I Prevail, Sleeping with Sirens, Wage War. Be there. That'll be a big homie day. I can't wait for that. And a couple more songs coming before the album release. And we just, personally, the band, me and the band, thanks everybody for sticking with us. And we can't wait to grow together. I cannot talk very well. But yes, thank you.
Brandon, you're good. You're very welcome. And now it's time to end this podcast with 3 very specific things. So one, when it comes to Palisades, yes, they have the brand new album coming out on the 22nd of July called Reaching Hypercritical. And you're going to want to make sure you know about anything that happens with the band going forward. So when it comes to, potential new singles that come out, when it comes to the album coming out, anything that might happen on there, and when it comes to new live dates that are coming out, you're going to want to know about this stuff, and you're going to want to be prepared for it in every specific capacity. So you're going to want to make sure you're following the band on all socials. You're going to want to make sure, you're watching the YouTube videos, you're online, you're supporting them on their website, you're buying some merch, you're pre-ordering the album, you're downloading, you're pre-saving it. Everything possible for it, streaming it, you're going to want to be ready for it. But instead of having to go and search all that stuff up yourself, because, well, who wants to go and search all that stuff up when someone like me could literally do it for you? Put in the description of the podcast that says Find Palisades Online and have everything there for you. Links, labels, make it a one-click. You go there, you like it, you share it, you follow it, you listen to it, you pre-order it, you pre-save it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So you have no excuse not to get into Palisades and get ready for Reaching Hypercritical and when new shows come out as well. So now it's time for number 2. And Brandon, this is something I like to do whenever I have guests on the podcast that I enjoy having on the podcast. So this is something that's happened literally every podcast I have done. And you, sir, have not broken this tradition yet. So this is a promise I like to make as a thank you for being on the podcast and as a thank you for making the music you do and, creating that positive connection. So this is not an if. This is not an if for a promise, because if implies, this might not happen. So no. I don't like that. I like when. When implies, okay, yeah, this is going to happen, but we still just don't know what the date or what the time is. So it always starts out with when I get to see you perform live for the first time, which is going to happen because I still have yet to see the band perform live at any given point. But when I get a chance to see the band perform live for the first time, I will find you at that merch table. And my promise to you, sir, is this. And the promise is, first round's on me. Whatever it is, whether it's, if it's beer, soda, drink, whatever. Hell, I'll even bring pizza if I have to. I'll figure out a way. I'll figure out something. But whatever it is, the first round of whatever it is on me.
I love it. I can't wait.
Oh, you'll see. It's like, okay, who's this random guy with this brewer's hat coming to the table? Yep, it's Kevin. He's going to have something ready.
That's the boy. He's got pizza. Got pizza and brews.
All of a sudden, it's just like, what do you got? Well, the pizza might be cold in my trunk, but I got a case of beer. You guys want that? It's like, yeah.
Hey, man, we like cold pizza. We're fine with that.
Cold pizza, cold beer. I mean, breakfast of champions, right there.
That's a meal for champions right there.
Perfect. Well, Brandon, as we bring this podcast to its conclusion, I cannot end this by saying goodbye because, hell, man, I mean, this was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be able to talk to you about a lot of stuff and really be able to bring a lot of the stuff that you're like, a lot of the passion, a lot of the stuff that's in the album, the song, and in the music to light from you. and also just, get even more excited about the album. Make good on that promise. And, I'd love to be able to talk to you again on this podcast again. And I still have, to make good on that promise. See you guys play live, first rounds, NBA, all that kind of stuff. So I can't say goodbye. That's way too final. So I'm going to end it like this. See you later.
See you later. Hell yeah.
Whoa, folks, that was here with Brandon from the band Palisades. Again, their brand new album, Reaching Hypercritical, is coming out on July 22nd, 2022. They have 2 singles out already called My Consequences and Better. Better is probably my favorite song by the band so far, because after hearing what Brandon had to say about Reaching Hypercritical, there's going to be something in there that I might just be like, This is like Song of the Year material right here. So be sure to get ready when that album comes out on July 22nd. Be sure to be ready because the band will be going on tour at some point in 2022. You're not going to want to miss out on it. So in order to stay connected with the band, go to the description of the podcast. You're going to see something that says Find Palisades online. All the socials, all the streaming platforms, where you can watch these videos, and then where you can pre-order the album. If they got a vinyl out, you're going to want to pre-order that as well. Get some merch. Everything's going to be in the description of the podcast for you to follow along Palisades and become a huge fan if you haven't already. Same thing with the Chord Progression Podcast as well. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the TikTok, or TikTok as I've been saying. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because on the YouTube channel you can watch these interviews with these artists as well. Or if you just want the audio stream version, Spotify Podcast, iHeart Radio, and Amazon has that option for you. If you're already subscribed to the podcast, if you like any of the podcast material or any the social media platforms, I want to give you a big thank you. So thank you very much for helping us out. Thank you for supporting all this stuff. Thank you for subscribing to all this stuff. It really means the world to me, because this is like the coolest thing I ever get to do, and the coolest thing I've ever gotten to do in my life. Probably because, I've done some cool, crazy shit. Cool, crazy shit. I basically messed that up, but I've done some cool, crazy shit in my life. I've had a lot of fun. But there is just this constant positivity when it comes to talking to these artists, talking to these bands, and connecting with everybody through music that just energizes me every single bit of every single day. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do this, guys. And I also want to thank the sponsors, Custom Views and Phoenix Fitness. Links in the description of the podcast along with their promo codes. And, everyone just... This is the main crux of the podcast and the main core of the podcast I want to put out there. We talked about better, we talked about, reaching out for help when you need it. And I did ask Brandon, that big question when it came to what prevented you from asking for help in the first place. And we talked about it from both his perspective and kind of what I went through for a little bit. So if you need help, the best way to, ask for help is to first find someone that you're comfortable with, find someone that you trust, find someone that you're really connected with, and talk to them about it, because they will listen, they will understand. And if you don't feel you can go that route, therapy is always going to be there for you in more of a clinical professional sense, but they will help you out just as well. So remember, it's much better having you here than it's not having you here. So thank you for being on the, listening to the podcast. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for just being here on this earth. So thank you. So on that note, that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one. That was the big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah!